Welcome to Albinism Talk, the global edition with your host, Marvalyn Green. Now, this is a special global talk because June 13th is World Albinism Awareness Day. So happy International Albinism Awareness Day. So without further ado, whoever's here is going to introduce the speaker. So who wants to introduce themselves first? Who wants to go first?
I'll take the initiative here. Hi, you guys. My name is Tresjure Cross Mills. I am a branding content strategist for She's So Savvy Social. I'll be joining this conversation in representation of Albinism Soul Care.
Who's next? I'll go India.
Hello, everyone. I am India Trawick. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee, or not from here, but reside here in Nashville, Tennessee. What else am I supposed to say? Thank you for having me. This is truly a pleasure, and I'm just happy to contribute. I'm also a new author. I have a lot going on, but I'm just excited to just be a part of this. It's truly a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Joshua?
My name is Josh Cintròn. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I am a network operations center technician, newly promoted as of a couple of weeks ago. I'm a landscape photographer, voice actor, and podcaster, all kind of wrapped into this big mess that you see in front of you. And I am thankful for being able to come on here.
Amazing. Ruby?
My name is Ruby Ratnassingham. I am a social service worker and educator in Ontario, Canada, and I am honored to be here and represent Born to White Ottawa, which is a nonprofit organization in Ontario based out of our capital, working to empower newcomer community with albinism. In Canada, it's an honor to be here. Thank you for this great initiative. It's a pleasure to meet everybody.
Latoya.
My name is Latoya Freeman. Born and raised in Ohio. I now reside in Nashville, actually not too far from India. That's how we met and became friends. I work in logistics, but I also own my own event planning business, The Golden Touch, hence me, the golden one. It is an honor. I am so glad that Ms. Marvalyn invited me and asked me to be a part of this, and I can't wait to share some insight, make some new friends, and hopefully inspire and empower everyone that joins us.
Who else? Janisa.
Yes, I am in, and I am a Texas girl. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and it's such a pleasure to be here with you all, representing my advocacy, No Melanin, and I'm just excited to share albinism with you all and just celebrate this awesome day. And thanks to you, Marvalyn, for reaching out and just including me in this. As Latoya said, I just look forward to the conversation. I look forward to everything that we will discuss and just building new relationships and just strengthening ourselves together as a community.
That's good stuff. So this is a special podcast. So let me just introduce myself. So my name is Marvalyn. I am of Caribbean descent, and I am the only one in my family who has albinism. I am the founder of Yell4Change. So Yell4Change is an advocacy cause that spreads the yellow message on albinism awareness. So if you would like to be a part of the Yell and Yellow campaign, feel free to do so. And also you can follow Yell4Change on all social media platforms, including YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, you name it. Anyway, so we're just gonna get into it because of time. We're gonna do storytelling. So we just wanna ask each speaker to share their stories. What is life like for you growing up with albinism? So I'm gonna go to Luis. I forgot to introduce him, I'm so sorry. Luis Rosado, are you there, sir?
I'm here all the way from Massachusetts.
I am so sorry. I forgot that you were here. I'm so sorry. I do apologize.
My name is Brandi Green. I'm based in Chicago. I'm a consultant, and I'm also author of Golden Like Me, a book, a children's book about two Black children with albinism who meet for the first time. And I'm really excited to be here with you all, learn from you all, meet new people, and just be in this space. It's really a blessing. I get so much joy from the community, so I'm thankful to be here.
Oh, amazing, amazing. So I don't know if another speaker's here, Helen. I'm not sure if she's in the talk. When she comes in, if she comes in, I'll introduce her later. So just gonna go into it because of time. Storytelling. So back to what I was saying, storytelling. So I want to hear each speaker. Brandi, do you mind going first, my love? Because I just to make up for last time. I'm so sorry, sis.
Yeah,
Would you mind sharing your story? What was your life like growing up with albinism?
It was really difficult for me. I mean, I think that some of us can share in some of the experiences that I've had. Personally, my parents didn't know what to do with my albinism, and didn't really know how to support me. So I was very much like immersed in the Black side of me, but the albinism part was like lacking. And so in addition to that, being in school and not having like the resources that I need to see, and kind of navigating that, as well as the social, I think we can all relate to being teased and things like that. I'm sorry, I hear an echo.
That's my fault. Sorry about that.
Oh no, it's okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't something on my end.
Yes,
But yeah, just feeling alone, like I'm the only person with albinism in my families, and not having someone to relate to. And people try, but they are not living the experience per se, and so it's just not easy. So I had a really tough childhood, and yeah, those are kind of my experiences.
Amazing. That is so amazing to hear, and it's glad that you share your story. So I'm gonna go with India. Your turn, sis. Share your story. What's life like with you with albinism? India?
Well, I'm here. Am I on? Okay. Well, for me, it was similar to Brandi's and probably all of ours. Very, very difficult. I first was an Army brat, so there wasn't a lot of stability. So if there was resources, we didn't stay anywhere long enough to figure it out. Or by the time we were just starting to discover something, it was time to move. So I was born and partially raised for the majority of my early childhood in Germany. So it was basically, I was the only one in my family. It was just me, and my parents. So I will have to say though, both my parents were very supportive, but my father, being the military one, was, kind of in and out, because you never know when he got stationed away. But when he was there, he was involved. So a lot of it was on my mother. And I will have to say, even though she wasn't a woman with albinism, she tried her best to hunt down, even to this day, no matter what it is. If I just mention I need something, she's going to find a way. But the one thing that both of my parents taught me was how to press on with the odds stacked against me. So they didn't let me use my albinism or the lack that I couldn't see as an excuse. My mom was like, there's always a solution, there's always a way, even if that means you have to ask for help. And being that you couldn't see, kids were horrible, of course, and teased. So when you needed help, I was at the time, very shy, and was kind of ashamed to ask for help. But my mom wasn't accepting D's and F's. So I said, it was just like, you better find a way. You better ask my mom at time, because there were no large print books as, accessible to me. There would be times my mom would be, and I would be up to 2 and 3 in the morning trying to do math because I couldn't see the numbers on the pages. But they taught me how to work hard, how to fight, how to persevere, how to find a way. I would say on top of children, for me, what was surprising was there were a few teachers that were horrible to me. So the people that you're supposed to be able to rely on as a safety net when your mom or dad isn't around, if they're not willing to help, if they push you off and treat you like you're a disability and want to put you in a learning disability class when I was super smart. I just couldn't see it. So if you could get me to see it and teach it to me, I can learn it. We're very intelligent people. And so, but I had teachers that wouldn't take the time, that, were, like I said, very horrible. There would even be times that I would turn in homework and I had a teacher that would throw it away and give me an F. But because my mother was so involved, she was like, oh, I know she did it because I helped her. Like, my mom didn't do work for me. She was like, but I was there and I made sure it was in her bag. So there would be times my mother would have to come up to the school and get with the principal and, definitely prove that lady wrong. And of course, that teacher would get in trouble. But, again, I thank God for a strong family that I had to fall back on. They tried their best. They couldn't see for me. They really didn't oftentimes get it, but they tried. And I really thank God for that. And my mother, being a praying mother, taught me gave me my strong sense of faith that I carry on to this day. But yeah, childhood was definitely difficult because like this right here, this platform for me is amazing. I've never been around this many people with albinism in my life. I never had an albinist person as a friend with albinism until I was probably in my late 30s. I'm just starting to meet each of you. And to me, it's incredible. So when I see other people, groups of you all who I grew up together, I'm like, what's that like? Because I have no clue. Like I wasn't around that. But yeah, I can go on forever. So y'all have to make me shut up. But yeah, it was difficult, but I learned a lot. And of course, we persevere, and I'm here now. So yeah, that's kind of how that was for me.
Who else have I missed out? Luis, welcome back, sir.
Yeah, I'm here.
Luis?
Yes.
Your turn. I'm gonna welcome Darren St Agathe on this talk. Darren, do you mind joining in, sir? Darren, do you mind joining in this talk as well? Because I really need you on this talk, because I really need you on here. Do you mind joining in, sir? I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
How you doing?
I unmuted.
How are you, sir?
I'm well. Yeah, absolutely. Given the opportunity, I'll provide my perspective, which is probably a bit different than a lot of other people, but I'll let other people talk. And when you're ready, by all means.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to Louise. Can you tell your story for us?
So my name is Luis Rosado. I grew up in Springfield, Massachusetts. Currently, I am a substitute teacher, a soccer coach. I just coached the game today. We won 8-0. I'm an author. I published a book called The Book of I. I'm currently working on publishing the Book of Us. Consider myself an independent entrepreneur. If I try to help other people and work in the community as much as possible. I had a tough childhood growing up, like many of you guys can say, and that's about it.
Oh, amazing. Sorry about that. Shelby, just introduce yourselves. You'll be singing for us later, so can you just introduce yourself, please? Can't hear you. Your mic's muted.
Hi, I'm Shelby Garrison, and it is a pleasure to be here today with you all. I am currently a teacher at Primrose School of Greenville. I work with infants and toddlers, and I adore working with children. And it is a pleasure again to be here with a family and community, people with albinism.
Yes, amazing. So thank you all for sharing your stories. So in terms of, I'm just going to ask one of our speakers, I'm going to ask India. I'm going to come to you, sis. India and Brandi, I'm going to come to you as well. I'm going to come to both of you. So when you mentioned your education side of things, did you receive special accommodations in school regarding your albinism for your visual impairment?
I can go first. I did not. When I was growing up, when I was younger, I just had different tricks and tips that I would just do because I just didn't have access to the things that I needed. And then like, I don't know, sometimes I think about like, why didn't a teacher say anything if they saw me, but you know, kind of squinting and things like that. But I just kind of did whatever I needed to do, like waiting till everybody was finished after school or after class and like go up to the board or ask somebody like, can they share their notes with me? I just had different ways that I like had to get it done because I didn't know that I could ask for these things. And that really wasn't something I knew from my parents that I could do. And that's something that I personally didn't know. It just wasn't information that was available for me. And so I didn't really know anything about asking for visual aids until I went to college, until I went to the Center for the Blind and got the things that I need. So yeah, that was my experience.
Oh, amazing.
With her lot.
So India?
Depending on, I didn't have any access or even knew things existed until I was like in the 8th grade. By this time, I'm back in the United States and we had lived, my dad was stationed in Fort Knox, Kentucky, which is like an hour away from Louisville, from where the Kentucky School for the Blind was. And I don't know how my mom managed to meet someone who knew about it. But again, all you got to do is kind of drop a bug in my mom's ear. So she started to research. From there, there was an aid that they provided me that would help me with some things with seeing. But then after that, I got the CRV TVs, which back then were like mega huge and embarrassing. When large print books were like 5 feet wide and this thick, you know. So, but I slowly but surely got resources. But yeah, I wasn't, it was probably when I was like 13, oh no, yeah, 13, when I started getting stuff, but still depending on where I went to school, I didn't always have access to it. So I think my freshman years when I actually transitioned from regular public school to going to Kentucky School for the Blind, where I started realizing, hey, there's this available, there's that available, but it still was a little bit different because I wasn't completely, you know, I wasn't totally blind, but the resources were there. So the latter part of my school life was a lot easier than the beginning.
Can I ask Tresjure as well? Tresjure and as well. So anyone else want to add to that as well? So any of your speakers would like to add to this part of the segment?
As far as accommodations?
Yes.
Growing up as a child, I had a lot of accommodations. I grew up in a very privileged community where resources were available, but it wasn't where I actually lived. So we had to travel like an hour to get the accommodations in an all-white neighborhood that would actually had those resources. But accommodations as far as like, I used to have bifocals where I was able to see. I was allowed to sit in front of the classroom. I was allowed to have notes. I had a lot of different visual tools to help me. But as a child, that can be very embarrassing if no one really understands why you're using these tools and why you have all this access and why do you get longer times on your test. And, you know, so I misused those accommodations as a child because I was embarrassed to embrace my albinism and how different I was. So although I had all those resources, I didn't take advantage of it like I should have. But fast forward, as an adult, I'm still in college because I found out like 2 years ago that my college would be free. Those are accommodations that I wasn't even aware of until my oldest sister, who had a very prominent position with the disability center in Washington, D.C. She had access to that information because those accommodations are the college being free for people who are visually blind isn't something that they advertise. So you have to either know somebody that knows that, or you have basically connections, right? So maybe 2 years ago, I found out that my whole college experience, as a 32-year-old now, I have it all free, which is a blessing because, okay, yes. So as an adult, my experience has been wonderful. It has been wonderful because I'm able to advocate for myself by resourcing all these great scholarships that are free. Basically, that's giving me money to provide for my family. I'm able to go to school for free without having to worry about books or, you know, and I'm able to do that all online. So I'm able to go to a very prominent college online without having to deal with the in-person interaction because with albinism, I suffer with social anxiety. I say suffer because it's a real thing for me. It's a real thing for me to deal with people in person because they don't understand that I might have to look at something real close, or I might have to, you know, ask how something is. It's just a lot. You deal with a lot with a visual impairment because I am considered legally blind. So now my experience with school has just been really fantastic. Not only do I have the support of my college, I have the support of my family, my husband and my children. And that gives me all the confidence I need to continue to be successful. So yeah, that's my experience.
Ruby, come, your turn. Your turn, sis.
Wow. What can I share? So I was born and raised in South Asia, Sri Lanka. And I came to Canada when I was 9 years old and escaped civil war, escaped genocide. You know, my father actually immigrated to London and then eventually got our family over to Canada. And, you know, it's been a blessing. I'm aware of how albinism and its you know, related disabilities can affect people in different countries in different ways. In some countries, you know, we're working so hard where your life can be lost due to discrimination. And then we have, even in developed countries as London, thank God for Yell4Change in Canada, we're trying to speak up and make policy change so that we have human rights. So growing up, I was quite blessed. My mom, from my understanding, my grandmother was a teacher to the blind, but little did they know that I was going to come along in the future and be legally blind. So my mom, I was quite privileged growing up in Sri Lanka because my dad was in London and was able to support us financially. You know, they were very, I think growing up in civil war, it is a genetic condition. So, you know, my family, they treated me like everyone else. I had a great supportive brother who treated me like every other sister. And so I think that community type of support was important. My dad, you know, I also learned quite a lot of strategies. I had a lot of access to resources if I can, growing up as a kid. So even though it started at 9, that was important. And of course, I've also, you know, I've experienced the negative side of having albinism, as well as some of the, you know, advantages. I grew up with, and I always look towards the positive compliments and the positive support and the positive energy, as you know, because you've had both growing up, and some people, especially young children, when someone negative towards your albinism, it can affect you very much. But I've also, you know, I always try to been taught to look at the positive. Be yourself. There's no one else like you. So I've had that experience. And now I just want to, I think growing up in Canada, education and awareness is probably the most important thing, not just for ourselves, but to educate the world on this, hence why we have such an important day. like this now, so that people recognize the disabilities that we have, or the different abilities. I struggle with that word sometimes. The different abilities that we have, and we navigate the world differently. We can get through, a regular inclusive school system and employment system, and enjoy human rights like everybody else. And I think for me, what I've gained out of just growing up and my journey is educate yourself. Knowledge is important, because we have this, there's no one else like us, and we can speak for all races, all cultures, all ethnicities, everyone, and so we're in this amazing skin. And I think we need to see each other that way. It's a blessing to meet other people like me growing up, and meeting accomplished people who are advocate, who see themselves in a positive light. It's just an honor to be here. So I think my journey has always been, before the organization that I'm a part of here, before I met all of you lovely people, NOAA was an organization, National Organization for Hyperpigmentation and Albinism, I believe. They were the only ones, and I know they met, I believe, in the States once a year. And I said, like, where do I see people like me growing up? So I think it's so important to grow up healthy and strong, and have your own self-esteem and self-respect. Accommodation, I've learned also now, because we've progressed so far, people don't realize we still have an accommodation need and what that looks like, right? In the workplace and all this stuff. So we have a long way to go. My journey's been wonderful, and also in pain there's purpose. And I'll leave that. That's my little story.
Yeah, thank you. We just want to welcome a few influencers in the room. We've got Lightest Ranking Yellows in the building to say hello. And we also got Natalie, the author of Black Girl, White Skin. Say hi, guys. Welcome to Albinism Talk.
Hello, hello.
Hey there.
Hi, welcome everyone. And I got the author, Alicia, she's here as well. Welcome, sis. We also got Piet and Pinky from South Africa. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to every speaker and listeners. We also got Princess Kemp. She's also a person of albinism. Just say hello, sis, before we move on. Princess?
Hello, hello everyone. Nice to meet everybody. I'm so glad to be a part of this. Thank you, Marvalyn.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We're just gonna move on. I'm going to do a reading of the theme of this year's Albinism Awareness. So I forgot my manners, so I just want to say to everybody, happy International Albinism Awareness for June 13th, okay? For those who are just joining in, happy International Albinism Awareness to you. So, I just wanted to empower that we are beautiful, we are lovely, and our skin is beautiful. We're made to stand out, and we celebrate this in unity. So, let me just bear with me for a second. I just got my notes on my phone. So here it is. So the theme is United in Making Our Voice Heard. The theme was chosen because including voices of persons with albinism is essential to ensure equality, to celebrate how groups of persons with albinism and individuals increase the visibility of persons with albinism in all domains of life, to encourage and celebrate unity amongst groups of persons with albinism, to amplify our voice and visibility of persons with albinism in all areas of life, to highlight the work being done by albinism groups around the world. So this moves on to the next point. Speakers I'm going to choose for this point, I chose Janissa, you've been very quiet, girl, so I'm going to come and bring you onto this segment now. Janissa, Louise, Josh, and Darren. Darren, are you there?
I'm there.
Yeah, just switch your. So I'm going to bring you onto this section, bro. The question I'm going to ask, right, for all four of you, why is it essential? So the inclusion for equality, why is it essential for the albinism community?
I could talk first.
Yeah, sure.
So while I was in college acquiring my MBA, I had a couple of internships in political science. I had an internship in City Hall. So I worked with the mayor of my city. I worked with a couple of people that were in city council and state reps and senators. And I believe it's very important for us to have our voices be heard and our needs to be met so that we can live an equal lifestyle that other people take advantage of and don't really appreciate as much. When you lose one sense, the other ones do get stronger, but at the same time, we have to play a little bit harder to still play on an equal playing field. And while I was in my internships, I try to get other people that don't have the same problems that we have to understand that life is really not that easy. It's not as simple as they try to make it out to be. And we changed a lot in Springfield and in Massachusetts. We have a company called the Massachusetts Commission for the Blind. They help us pay for tuition. They help with employment. They help us find resources and get us connected with other individuals who are blind or have albinism. So if you don't try, nothing's ever going to happen. You have to be the one that wants to change. If you don't want to change, it's never going to come.
Amazing. Janisa, same question for you. Why is inclusion for equality essential within the albinism community?
I believe it's essential because without exposure or without talking about it, how will others know how important albinism is, or how will people know what affects us, or how will people know what we go through, or just our day-to-day life if no one ever speaks up about it and makes our voices heard. So I think that is very important, because that's really the only way you can see change happen. And I know we can all think of different things that's happening in our countries, different coalitions that have formed, different organizations. That's all because someone chose to raise their voice and speak out on an issue and bring awareness to it and bring it to the forefront, so that way others could know about it. And from that point on, we have what we have today. So I believe it's the same way with us. Although we are all from different parts of the world, or in some of our cases, for those of us who are Americans, although we are located in different parts of the US, we're able to use our voices and shed light on this condition. And as a result, we're able to bring about that inclusion, or, that equality, or at least tickle someone's ear and make them a little interested in it, just based off of, like the gentleman before me was saying, our own experiences, or, just bringing it about just straightforward. So I think that's why it is very important, and I think we're doing a great job with it.
Darren, can I come to you, sir? What is your opinion about this? Darren, can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, D. What is your opinion about the inclusion for equality?
Well, I'm going to be, my life is a totally different perspective. I have a totally different perspective on life than a lot of people with albinism. So I'm going to start by saying, like, a lot of people said that they didn't even meet or talk or find someone with albinism until they got a lot older. I was raised, my oldest brother had albinism, and so did I. So my middle brother, he was actually brown skinned. So he was actually the person that was different between the three of us. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, like, a lot of my experiences made me watching my oldest brother made me actually become confident. So I know a lot of people with albinism suffer from confidence, and I think I will talk about this is that, and I'm sure a lot of people just because us people with albinism, I hate when they say you look like somebody else. Like, they're not looking at our face at all. They just see the color of your skin and just immediately say you look like someone. And for all the males, particularly of Black descent, I'm going to make this comment. If you live in America or in the Caribbean, they quickly call you Yellow Man or say you look like them, and that used to piss me off. And I'm going off the tangent, forgive me, but I'm going to a point. So that's to make me extremely irate. And with that being said, because I seen obviously Yellow Man and he looks nothing like me at all. So the guy obviously is sick now. I hope he all is well for him. But my point, I think the biggest change I think people need to do is be the biggest thing is like Google. Like there's no reason for you to insult or to ask that ignorant question. If you don't know, Google it, because like I don't have patience for ignorance at all, especially considering like the fact is if people don't know, like albinism has different degrees. Like my brother had lighter hair than me, but I actually we still suffer from albinism. Like I had a slight bit darker hair than darker skin, but we still had albinism. So like I think people don't know that there's different types of albinism and how's it affected. There's even people with a slight bit of melanin with albinism. It really affects the eye more so. That's how they determine albinism. People who don't know that, they determine it by the stagnant. So a lot of people don't know that. So I think like that old saying, reading is fundamental, but I don't think people take the time to read. A lot of people have talked, and a young lady that talked to me maybe about 15 minutes ago made a point about available scholarships. I'm a bit older than her. When I grew up, I didn't know any of that stuff. But it's funny that there's tons of scholarships, not even just for the blind, but people with albinism, period. Like people who suffer from, skin disorders or issues with their skin, period. So if you don't know that and you're looking to go to school, like she said, you can go to school for free. I didn't have that privilege. I ended up paying for school, but that's fine. But I think it's also important that people understand that if you don't believe in yourself, you can't expect other people to really believe in you. So you have to honestly find your space. By finding your space or your place, and always look at, and I think you and I've talked about this, as yourself, not just as different, but as an oddity, as a compliment, because your difference makes you actually, people want to know you. That at least that's what it did for me. So like take it as a compliment. Don't like, and I know some people also, a young lady said they, some people have social anxieties. College changed my life. I went from like having no friends to being more of a social person. Now I'm not exactly an extrovert, but at the same time, it made me more easy for me to converse with other people. So with that being said, I'm going to stop by saying like this most important thing I think for people is to definitely just read. Like there's no reason why you can ask me the most ignorant question and the answer is just by typing in something in Google.
I'm gonna go to Josh. So the question applies to you as well. Like, why do you think it's essential for inclusion, for equality within the albinism community? Josh Cintròn.
So I think it's definitely important to have those sort of conversations about inclusivity, because let's just be honest with each other. Like when we first get out into the world, we're excluded, we're alienated, we're made to believe that just because we look the way we do, and if you look at everybody on the thing right now, we all look very different. We all come from very different backgrounds. We're all very diverse. Okay. But in the same instance, we all get ostracized. We all get alienated. We all get cast aside because we don't look the way we don't look like who we're supposed to look. Personal experience, like I got pushed aside because by my peers starting from elementary school, because me living in a predominantly Latino neighborhood, me being Latino, being Puerto Rican, born in New York City, I was raised with the same values and the same culture and the same music and the same mannerisms as any other Latino. But then when I get looked at, and especially as a child, they just see, and you're gonna have to forgive how I say this, they just see white boy, they just see gringo, they just see el cano, they just see el albino. That's it. That's all they see. And so for the majority of the people that really got to know me, I kind of have to laugh at this now. For the majority of the people that got to know me, I was the Italian Puerto Rican because of my accent. Like I have this strong sort of New York accent, and I'm proud of my roots. I'm proud of where I came from. And I just think just on the fact that we are proud of our roots and we are proud of where we come from, and we are proud of our own cultures and our own ancestry and our own descendants, that we should have a seat at the table no matter what.
Amazing.
Or else why bother having these cultural sort of awareness seminars if we aren't a part of that conversation?
Amazing. Does anyone else want to add to that before I move on?
I just have to laugh because I was looking at, sorry, Joshua, and I apologize, all the way from Toronto, I was thinking like, yeah, he looks like a white boy from the Bronx, until you said Latino. So it just goes to show exactly, and I agree with you, if we need to be at the table, if we want to be represented at the table. And I agree 100%.
Amazing. I'm going to move on to the next point. I am going to share why I'm going to go and move on to, as a part of this theme, Yell4Change started a campaign called Let My Voice Be Heard. And I just want to let you know that I'm so grateful for each participant. Thank you so much for taking part in this campaign. Over 100 persons with albinism took part in this amazing campaign. So I'm going to show you a screen of what went down on Instagram. So just bear with me for one moment, please, everyone. And for those who are on Instagram, you can have a look on your phones as well. So it's just for those who do not have Instagram, so they can actually see this as well. Hold on. There it is. Can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay,
Yes.
so this is what went down. So I'm going to show you look at what has been done on Instagram. For those who wasn't aware of this, the Let My Voice Be Heard for Albinism Awareness. These are different people, including children, national and internationally. And this is going to be the next discussion of this talk about why your voice matter. Why your voice matter, that's what the whole question is. So we're gonna talk a bit about that. You know, we're going to talk about why our voice matter. Why does the person's albinism's voice matter in society? So the people I'm going to bring onto this forefront is Tresjure, India, Brandi, Latoya, and Ruby. Hello, can you hear me?
So who
wants to go first? So Brandi, India, Latoya, Tresjure, and Ruby.
I'll go first.
Okay, sure.
I'll go first. Why? We've all stated that we've shared the same experiences, somewhat different, somewhat similar. For me, I had the help. I'm the first in my family with albinism, but I'm also the youngest of 4. So it was like my parents starting over. I did have the help through elementary and middle school, but when I got to high school, I silenced myself. I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be that teenager that didn't stand out. So for numerous years, I just did my best to look and be like everyone else, not wanting to bring my poor vision to the forefront, not wanting to stand out with my fair skin. I didn't wear shorts, I didn't wear tank tops, things of that sort, just so that when I was looked at, I wasn't looked at any differently. It wasn't until I became an adult, had my own children, and had to deal with the difficulties of not looking like my children, that I realized I needed to speak up, not just for myself as an African-American female with albinism, but just as a person with albinism in general, that if I'm not willing to speak up and show the world who I am, then how can I expect anyone to accept me? So I had to start letting my voice be heard, and in a sense, forcing myself to stand out in a crowd again. Like Darren said, I'm still an introvert. You will still find me kind of people watching, but now I've reached a point, and I'm probably one of the older people on this group at 45. I have learned to let my voice stand out, to let my features stand out, to not be ashamed of my fair skin, to not be ashamed if I have to hold something closer. And I've also accepted the fact that I also have family members that are younger than me that have albinism. There's a total of 3 of us now. But I've accepted the fact that if I want them to be confident in themselves, then I have to be confident in myself as well. I can't let the younger generation feel any differently if I'm portraying myself differently. I have to give them the confidence, and I have to find that within myself as well. So that's why I feel that my voice needs to be heard.
India?
Kind of piggybacking off of what Latoya just said, I remember going through that phase in life where I wanted to blend in because I got tired of being in, feeling different, being embarrassed to ask for help, which in turn for me kind of created an identity crisis, which I guess if I get an opportunity later, I'll talk about more about my book. But my book is about coming from identity crisis to finding my confidence and true identity in Christ. But before I could even get there, I had to figure out who I was. And for me, even though, like I mentioned earlier, my family didn't make me feel different, the outside world was. Like at home, I could have just, I was India, or my nickname is Peaches. Like I was just me. Outside is when I realized I was different, with the stares and the different things like that, and the stupid questions and stuff. So now I wish that the platforms that we have now and that we have the pleasure of being a part of now, I wish there was that when I was little, because maybe if that was the case, a lot of us wouldn't have grown up feeling the way we do. So now I see, and I'm very happy that these younger girls that are coming up to hearing us, seeing us on magazines, seeing us in different platforms, seeing us persevere, seeing us being authors, talking about albinism, and seeing these campaigns like this, it would help them kind of get their identities together at a young age. So by the time they can go through life a lot more smoother than we can, because if nothing else, they can reach out to one of us and say, hey, how did you handle this? How did you deal with this? We're able to tell our testimonies and our experiences, and that's important. I'm confident today, but I wasn't always there. And it's because who was going to understand me? Yeah, I have a loving mother who I could cry to, and she tried to understand from parent to child, but did she really get it? No, and that's not her fault. There was a time I had a friend that asked me years ago, would you want a child with albinism? And I said, absolutely not, because I would not want them to go through what I went through. But at that time, I was dealing with identity crisis still within myself. Now, if you ask me that, I would love to, because now I'm confident in myself and I can spill that over into my child. Or I've had the pleasure of meeting certain younger girls with albinism now that's here in our city that, they call people like me and Latoya their big sister. And that excites me. And so that's why our voice matters, to keep pushing, to keep going, to keep striving, you know, so that we can head off some of this, the myths of albinism, some of the lies, some of the things that people, ugly things that people tell us that transform how we feel about us. We can turn that around, and we have the ability to change the narrative for someone else.
Absolutely. Brandi?
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with Latoya and India and what they've said. I think definitely for me, growing up, I didn't use my voice. I definitely internalized everything, all the painful experiences that I dealt with and outside and being teased and stuff. And it just was lonely and difficult to kind of process all of that. And it just was like, it was a painful time. So I personally know the importance of like sharing my voice and sharing my needs and all the things, you know, that would be helpful to share with others. It's like a release for yourself, you know, and not carrying all these things, and whomever can deal with it can deal with it. And I think that's a good way to know like where people are in your life. But in terms of collectively, I think just listening to all of us and what we bring to this world, that's why our voice matters. We all have so many talents. Authors, so many creators. So I've forgotten a lot of the professions, I'm sorry, but just so much that we bring.
It's all right. Just be you in the room. That's how it is. If anybody want to cry, it's all good. It's for me, I don't mind. Just be you. We just want everybody to be comfortable, so it's okay.
Just thinking about just like all that we bring to the world and just being ourselves, not even a matter of like the titles that we have, but just being ourselves and just bringing our talents. We have value and we are human, and like that should be honored. And like the things that we do should also, our voices should be honored and respected and lifted up, and definitely serve to empower others, the younger generations, as India was talking about, like of albinism. I see them and I'm like, wow, they're so confident. They're so, you know, just, I feel like at a different space than I was at their age. And I think that is beautiful. And I celebrate that. It should be each generation getting better and helping one another. And that's, you know, that's what I want to continue to see. But we all matter, our voices matter, and everything we put out into the world matters.
Thank you so much, Brandi. Namesake. Call you Miss Green. Thank you. Ruby?
There's some choked up moments. I think it's so important to have platforms like this, because I think, I forget who said this best, but we are all spiritual beings in living the human experience. And every single one of us has a voice, whatever it is that we want to become, want to be, and our journey in life, we all have a voice. Growing up, I think, you know, I think a lot of people can relate or have shared experiences. Mine was just, albinism was just one thing of many things that was a part of me. So I always just grew up just wanting to be me. But I think, you know, and I think, mind you, the experiences came at me, whether they were positive compliments, negative words, they just came at me. But as your voice, you have to always value that. And so for each of us to see the number of like the hundreds of people across the globe from different ethnicities and cultures with my condition, I realized, you know, as being in the age and space that I am right now, that confidence of just like, even though albinism just was one aspect of me, now it's so important for me to speak about it because it's so beautiful, it's so rare, it is one aspect of me, but it makes me a lot of who I am. And I think so that's one voice that you, like all of the other speakers here, people that are joining us, we have to build our confidence, build keep our respect, speak up for not just ourselves, but collectively we inspire, we can be inspirations for future generations so they don't go through the hardships. And, you know, albinism is a conversation that's commonplace. I think the gentleman earlier spoke on educate. You're saying that Google is such a great resource, you know, and it does not, if not Google, go to your free local library, whatever part of the world you are in. If you know about who you are, you can explain that to others. And then this conversation won't just be once a year, it'll be commonplace for everybody so that we can all have the same, not just equal, but equitable opportunity, right? That we can all, so it's important. And I think that each of us has a voice, but not all of us are given the space. So it's important that we take spaces like this to inspire people to always value themselves first as a human being, regardless of what you have or you know, your abilities or what such. We have some great skills that we learn along the way, right? To how to navigate life. Yeah, we can't see. We're considered legally blind in some countries. In some countries we can drive. In some countries we cannot. But guess what? We have great intuition skills. We have great communication skills. We have great hearing abilities. These are all things that you can learn about yourself and your condition. So it's important because be proud in your voice.
Amazing. Tresjure. Sis, are you there?
Yes, I'm. Well, you guys almost had me like crying. Trying to hold it all in. Like, this is a lot.
Yeah, Tresjure, your turn. Why we're talking about the poster? So the question, why your voice matters. So, you know,
well, forgive me if I drop a couple of tears.
It's all right. Listen, it's all right. Be yourself up in here. If you want to cry, it's all right.
I'm sorry because I didn't expect it, you know.
It's all good.
I would say, just give me a second.
It's all right.
I can't see you anyway, so you can hear me. Okay. I would say, you know, growing up biracial, I'm African American and I'm also Caucasian. I've seen the best of both worlds, right? But I've also experienced the racism from both sides in a social environment and also in a career environment. So for me, you know, I advocate for albinism because it's all I have. You know, I deal with social anxiety because I've seen the cruelness of people and what they can say to try to tear you apart based off how you were born, right? So the world's just an unfair place in general.
Yeah.
But having albinism, I always knew that it was special and that it was rare, but I've never known anyone that had albinism until about a year ago. I met Brandi online, and it was just really wonderful to see other people with albinism who were thriving, who were successful, who actually wasn't afraid to, like, you know, be themselves. So my voice matters because I've always been very ambitious, very outgoing. I'm a go-getter. I'm mainly because I've been really lonely. I've been really lonely in social environments. So I'm always just living in my own world. So my voice matters because I want every little girl that has albinism to know that you can be and do whatever it is you want. Albinism shouldn't be something that stops you from being successful. And successful can be, it's so broad. I think just being able to wake up is successful.
Yeah.
I feel just being able to be here on a call is successful. So a successful isn't just tied to having money or tied to having, you know, all the desires you want in the world. Successful is just, I'm legally blind. I can't see. So for me, I have been able to do a lot of things, minus the visual impairment. You know, I thought I would never be able to drive. I drive. I thought I would never be able to have children. I have 4 children. And to piggyback off what someone said about, oh, you know, about having children with albinism. Well, I have 4 children, and it was very difficult, if I'm being honest. When I had my first child, she came out nothing like me.
Oh, wow.
It was really devastating because I had identity issues with having a Black mother and having a white father, and having a Black mother that rejects you is one of the most painful experiences as a woman you can experience, because you're not just trying to break that generational curse. You have to break it in order to move forward. Yes. It's painful. Yes. So having my daughter, who is beautiful, who's all brown, has been a blessing. It's also been an eye-opener for me to not be mad at my culture for pushing me out. Yeah. But it's allowed me to be more culturally aware of my culture and the traumas that come with my culture. Because my mom, she never talked about it. You know, she never talked about it. She never discussed it. If anything, she was disgusted with albinism. So internally, it made me hate myself for a really, 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 really long time. And so I had to learn, it's like, I had to learn how life really worked on a historical standpoint in order to pull back those layers of the hate that came with how my mother treated me and how my father received me. So having my daughter really just taught me to be more culturally aware. And then I have my sons. My oldest son is really brown, like my oldest daughter. And then I have my 2 younger sons who have albinism. And they don't have the visual impairment of albinism, but they have albinism. And I thank God that I had got to a point where I was able to, one, accept who I was and my calling in life and what I was able to offer the world from a professional standpoint, but from like a spiritual standpoint, what I was able to offer. And my son came up to me and he goes, "Mom, some kid at school," he came up to me and he was like, "Oh, you have albinism?" And I was like ready to fight. I was ready to fight, go up to the school and cuss everybody out because the anger I had once suppressed just came up again. And I was like, "So how did you take it?" He was just like, "No, you know, I don't have albinism, but my mom, she's the albinism queen. So, I got albinism." And it just made me feel so good inside that I was actually educating them on albinism at home, thanks to Brandi's book, Golden Like Me. Yes, yes, yes. My kids love that book. They feel like that's them in the book. They feel like
we got some hands up in here.
You know,
we got some hands up. So, oh my God, the hands are up. So
that's my experience.
I'm gonna go to Princess. Princess, hold that thought. Janisa, please come to the forefront, sis, because your hand was up. I saw that. Janisa, your hand was up, sis.
Oh, it was probably by mistake. I didn't even know it was up, but I'll speak if needed. But yeah. It wasn't intentional.
The floor will be open shortly, but the floor will be open shortly for anyone who wishes to say something. Now, the next part I'm going to move on to is the mental health aspects of having albinism. Now, this is a topic that, some people may not be aware, but you know something, we focus on the physical aspects of having albinism, right? The whole no melanin without the skin, hair, and eyes. But have you ever had this talk amongst your community. And Janice, I'm going to bring you on, and I'm also going to bring Josh on. I'm going to bring Louise, and I'm also going to bring on Princess. Do you mind joining this talk as well? Princess, do you mind joining? So I'm going to go to you.
Yes, ma'am. I'll join. Yes, ma'am.
So, Princess, good evening. This topic, mental health with albinism, where you're from, is that a subject that is brought up or even spoken about?
I'll go ahead and speak.
I'm sorry, are you talking to me, Marvalyn?
Yeah, I'm talking to you, Princess. Is that a subject being talked about, mental health with albinism? So I know Josh is going to jump on this as well, so I want Josh to be on board. Princess, so is that subject brought up within your community?
No, it's not brung up a lot, but it needs to be brung up. A lot of albino people and albino children are dealing with mental health. And one is because of the way that we are treated, the way that society treat us as, it's like we're different people, but we're the same people, but we're treated so differently. And I can relate to a lot of the things that a lot of the women and the men talked about as far as growing up. And I think it needs to be something did about the mental part of children with albinism, because they go through a lot of things as kids and as children. And they have, like in America, it's assistance that we can get financially as far as, disability for the low vision, but it's not a lot of help when it comes to the mental part of it. And if you don't have like a family that's devoted to treating their kids right, or just like what the young lady was saying about what she was going through with her mother, you really have to have somebody that's involved to protect the children mental, because we have a lot of mental things that happens to us as children.
Amazing. I'm gonna bring Josh Cintròn. Can you join this talk, please?
Yeah, sure, definitely. So, in short, no, we don't talk about the mental ramifications of albinism. And if you want evidence of that, look at what we just talked about. I'm serious. Like, look at what we just talked about. Identity crises, being shunned by your own peers, being shunned by your own family in certain cases, being shunned by teachers, professors, just, being relegated to just being that one person that looks different, that looks not like you, but holding the same cultural values. Let me kind of bring a story to the forefront here. So for those of you who can't tell, I've lived in Brooklyn my entire life. Okay. And so when I was 11 years old, we had to move to the other side of Brooklyn. And it was a predominantly Latino neighborhood, and there were other races that were there too. But in the same instance, it was like I still felt like the odd person out, because what would happen every time I would go to the store, which literally is around the corner, I'd walk down the block and I'd have rocks thrown at me. I'm dead serious. I'd have rocks thrown at me. So there came a point as an 11-year-old, 12-year-old, okay, that I had to carry a bat with me. I don't tell this story to be braggadocious. I don't I don't ever want to pass this on to anybody. I want whoever is after me to have a better life than I do. Okay. And just the simple fact that we don't talk about the mental health aspect of things, and that in all reality, we don't have that sort of space to be able to do it up until today. That's scary. It's a scary thing. I've been talking to a therapist and a psychiatrist maybe for the past, year and a half, give or take. And I'm 36 years old. 36 years in Brooklyn. I've seen more stuff that I cannot get out of my head than I can talk to my therapist about in an hour and a half. Okay. And that's just kindergarten. I got bullied. I got physically bullied just for looking like me in junior high school. I got put in the hospital. A kid gave me a concussion, broke the bottom of my head.
Jeez. Wow.
I didn't do anything to anybody. I don't. There was a young lady who spoke previously who was like, she's not into like the social situations. I keep to myself. Mm-hmm. I have a very small circle of friends, and maybe I talk to them every so often, and then I just go on my merry way, and I work, and I have my landscape photography and the occasional podcast or whatever, but I just keep to myself because I'm used to being shunned. But when I look at it now, that's not the healthiest way to live, because there are people in this community that want to know other people that have struggled just like they have. Mm-hmm. And I've met a couple of these in person. I got to meet Brandi in person. Okay. And she's amazing. She really is.
Amazing.
She's a sweetheart. Okay. And I hope to get to know the some of yous in person too.
Mm-hmm. So we're just gonna move on to the next point. Oh my god, I have to keep track of time, guys. I have to keep track of time. Oh, got a little bit of time. The next point we're gonna talk about is actions taken for the albino or persons with albinism killings in Africa. So I'm gonna bring Janisa Louise, and also I'm going to bring on Latoya as well on this talk. So what is your opinion about the actions taken about the killings in Africa? What's your opinion about that? Okay, yeah.
My opinion is that, just to me personally, I don't feel like enough as far as the government side is being done, as far as actions being taken to really put a foothold down on those who commit these acts, to know that, we have a zero tolerance attitude towards this. This is not right. This is inhumane. Mm-hmm. This is unjust. I feel like some are trying. So let me not say that, it's all across the board, but I just feel as though for it to continue happening, there's some type of misunderstanding as far as how serious and how severe these penalties can be if these actions are continuing or going to be continued to be taken against people with albinism. So I just, my hope is that the government enforces much harder sanctions and much harder penalties against people who do these things, enough to make a statement to anyone else who would want to try to do it, because some have gone to jail, and I've read articles where these things have taken place. But again, just hearing what some others say who actually live in Africa, they still feel as though the government, in some ways or forms, they really don't try their hardest at making sure that these things don't continue to happen. So that's why I say, my hope is that they make a bit more of an effort to really make a statement as far as how these actions they can't be. They're inhumane. They're toxic. They shouldn't be going on. And they need to make a much louder yell as you say, Marv, to let this not be known that you cannot do this against people with albinism.
Right. Yell4Change, yes. Has any of your, I just want to ask in general, any of our speakers been to Africa?
I have.
Yes.
Oh, I'm not a speaker, sorry.
Yes, okay, it's fine. I'm just asking, anyone has been to Africa, and please share this because this is a part of the segment.
Yeah.
So I've been there several countries.
Yeah, so Darren, I'm glad you're here, All right, so Darren.
I was actually born there, so.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to ask for those who've been, not the ones who are born, those who have been to Africa. So Darren, so what was your experience like when you visited South Africa, or
which country? Because I've been to a few.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about South Africa. What was it like? What did you witness, or what was your experience like when you visited South Africa with PWA's community? Did you see any ill treatment? What was your experience? Please share that with us.
Well, I'm going to be honest, South Africa, it didn't give me that image at all. When I went to South Africa, literally after I landed and settled in, and I went to the first place to, first I met Regina and I are best friends. Regina Mary, anybody who knows her, we are not even best friends, we're like siblings. That's how close we are. We talk. I talked to her a couple hours ago. That's how close we are.
Oh, bless.
Yes, we are really, really close. She's best friends with my wife. We're really, really close. But when I got there and I settled down and I started going on different places, I was literally treated like a celebrity.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was that the young ladies and men, they wanted to take pictures with me because they was I mean, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn. They was like, "Oh, you're so handsome," blah blah blah. And then a couple people thought I was a model, and they gave my wife a card offering me their modeling services, etc., etc., etc. But what I also did notice is that Regina and I, a lot of them that I did see that was out there, which I did see more people with albinism out there than I probably saw in my first 30 years of living, because there are quite a few. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, they don't have, a lot of the people that suffer from albinism now, they don't have the proper treatment or sunscreen to protect their skin. Mm-hmm. So a lot of them, you see their skin are suffering, or they're peeling or cancerous to some degree. So the first thing after the first few days of working or being around Regina, I sent a handful of sunscreen. People, if y'all don't know, there are sunscreen that's 100% SPF. If you don't know, hit me up on this and I will send you the link. There are 100%, and I just came back from vacation from Egypt. I did not suffer any burn at all. And in Egypt, there's 95 degrees at 9 o'clock in the morning. No exaggeration. So going back to South Africa, it's not like I didn't see the bias or any discrimination out there, but I do think obviously in other countries that I wanted to go and I couldn't, they literally told me they were going to chop my arm off if I end up going into that country. Example, Tanzania. So I have not gone there because I was near the border of it. They said some of your complexion should not go there because they would look at, they literally told me I should not go there. They'll look at you. They look at people of albinism as a good luck, not a curse. No.
Oh, good. Yeah. I know what you mean.
We're they'll literally kill you or chop a piece of you to hope with the spirits that their life will change because they got quote unquote this white devil. So yeah, it's very interesting. So, but I didn't. It didn't. I guess times have changed with apartheid and things of that nature. I didn't see that discrimination, but I do think South Africa suffers from they're not doing the right things to help make their people albinism situation better. You know, I don't even think people are even aware of certain types of sunscreen at all. So when I, again, working with Regina, like she was so happy that I gave that and it worked so well. She was like, can you send me some more? I was like, of course. And her and I consistently stay in touch with each other because I want her. I literally look at this girl like as my sister. Like I'm trying to get her. Literally trying to get her to come to try to get her to come here to be with me, to hang out with my family. That's how close we are.
Bless you. Anyone else that's in the chat that's been to Africa? Anyone else would like to share their experience? Because it's interesting. Since it's Albinism Awareness, so
this is Natalie.
Hey, Natalie.
Hey.
How are you? Good evening
I'm
from
good.
London. Good evening.
Hey, good evening. I've actually had the opportunity to go to Tanzania as well as into Kenya and into South Africa, different trips.
Yes.
And in Tanzania, I attended the first Pan-African conference on albinism, and I was the only Westerner there. So, and this was a several days event that was sponsored by Under the Same Sun, the Canadian NGO. And my experience, I mean, you know, first of all, to be around so many PWAs from different countries was really just absolutely fascinating and wonderful and enriching. After the conference, I traveled with Under the Same Sun leadership to some of the schools in northern Tanzania. And it was really there where I was able to see the conditions that children were living with and in order just to receive an education, both in a public or government-run school versus a private school, because the experiences are radically different. And we would travel through, and one of our guides would say, oh, as we were traveling, was like, oh, well, there's a traditional medicine person, there's a witch doctor's home, there's this, you know, she would just point them out casually. And, you know, what I experienced personally while just traveling with other friends was to be able to see the racism, if you will, and stigma directed toward us, from social situations to potential hotels where we might want to stay. And I likened it to the kind of discrimination that people of color in the United States experience every day. I was experiencing that as a person with albinism.
See the thing is, right? See, we're very diverse in here. So we have whites, blacks, Latinos, and everything. The thing is, right, for me growing up, a bit about me. So I'm of Caribbean descent. So in Jamaica, as Darren said with the Caribbean thing, because we both relate to that as well. And, you know, with the Caribbean, with albinism in the Caribbean, we honestly, they know about Yellow Man. I'm from Jamaica, so Yellow Man is, you know, everybody knows him. As I said, growing up, for me, my family, I had the support. I also went to school with a couple PWAs in my community. So for me, it was not so bad. But I think when I came to the UK now and, you know, living in a different country, it was like I experienced, you know, some of the stigmas, you know, even in school and everything. Some family members, you know, some of them were just not as nice, but then I had majority the love. But it's just, I can't really let the bad outdo the good. But having not said that, I'm glad that there are some actions taken in Africa, but I feel that they need to do more than enough. I don't just say, oh, sharing reports. I feel like they need to provide jobs for PWAs, especially within the South African areas. More resources needed, more educational equipment is needed. Now, that's what I feel that is needed with these NGOs or however you want to call them. I feel they need to kind of provide more services for the persons with albinism, you know, and tackle the whole discrimination more. Don't just do one area, just tackle everywhere. I know there's work to be done. It's just the beginning. And I know that there are people out there that are advocating, doing brilliantly. So now the floor is now open. It's going to be for 20 minutes, guys, because of time. So if you want to say something, the floor is now open to anyone who wants to say something. The floor is open for 20 minutes.
Well, I just want to say really quickly, because I might have to go in just a second.
Sure,
I just want to say that I have loved this entire talk. Oh my God. My mind is just like, wow. Like I can't go to a specific point and just outline everything, but wow is all I have to say. I needed this. I listened intently to every speaker. I learned, I grew, I got what I needed. And I'm just so happy to be a part of this with all of you guys. Wow, again, it's the only word I can use.
Thank you.
To describe it. I mean, oh my gosh, where was this when I was a kid? You know, I think someone mentioned
yeah, me too.
This? I needed this talk. I needed this talk with my community. And I just want to thank you so much, Marv, for creating this space for us to get together and just talk about what it is like to be in this skin. We can talk about it to others, but they don't really get it. But being here with people who get it, you know, we understand, we feel each other when certain things are said. It's just amazing and it's breathtaking. And God bless all of you. I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed to say I know y'all and that I was a part of this with you guys. So once again, great job. I love you all so much.
Love you too, sis.
And I celebrate more.
And thank you for featuring us. Thank you for featuring me on your No Melanin magazine, girl. So, ladies, before I even cut this, some of our speakers know what I'm talking about. In March, Janisa, she's the founder of No Melanin. So please go to her socials and follow it. She created a campaign for Women's Month and she featured a few of our speakers in the house, including myself. And we're so humbled, sis. Thank you so much for the work you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you for all you do. We appreciate you.
I love you, Brandi.
Oh my God. Love you too. Thank you.
Give her, guys, just give her a clap. Honestly, just give her a round of applause. Honestly, everyone just clap for her, man.
Thank you guys so much. I love y'all. I
love you too. So now the floor is open. The floor is open to anyone. Oh, we got Piet in the building. So Piet from South Africa. Welcome, Piet. So I'm gonna go to you first. Welcome, Piet.
Thank you, Marvalyn. Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
All of you. Marvalyn.
Hi.
What I want to say is very much short. I'll talk especially about South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
My experience in South Africa. So I just wish that it does not happen globally.
Mm-hmm.
First, I would like to say, for us to be united and for our voices to be heard, it's only if we have resources. So I will appeal to those from other countries who have resources, try to assist the countries that do not have resources. But make a thorough investigation whether that organization or NPO really does do work for people with albinism. Because in most cases, for instance, in South Africa, I will say without fear or favor, the majority of the people who are owning the NGOs for PWAs are only doing so to enrich themselves. Our people in South Africa are struggling, but definitely those who are close to the government and getting resources from the government. They are taking them to their own pockets, whereas our people are really dying of cancer. Our people are struggling. So it is just very much painful if you can read the situation of the South Africans, especially because cancer is very deadly. So I wish whatever we do, we can try to make a thorough research to see whether this, for example, we have one known NGO in South Africa. The others are not so much well known, but that very same well known, even internationally, that is the organization that is well known. But trust me, the report will come and say we are doing ABC, but down in the ground, nothing is being done. All those donations, what goes to individuals' pockets, it's very painful. So it is good for us to unite as albinism people, make sure that we assist our people correctly, and we do not fund people who are wasting those resources and taking for their own pockets. Thank you.
Anyone else would like to say something? Oh, someone's hands up. Michael. Hands up, Michael. Michael?
Yeah. So I'd love to say that this is a great thing you guys are doing, and I'm glad it happened.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, so actually I grew up in Kenya, and I relocated to Canada. So the thing is, I wanted to add on that, like, about African people with albinism. Actually, it's crazy over there. Like, people are being killed. Like, for example, in 2018 in Mali, a 5-year-old girl was killed because she had albinism, right? So personally, I've lost a friend with albinism because he was a target because of that. So it's a big issue than just people tend to brush it off, but it's a major issue anyway. So so the authorities are not doing enough on that. Like, the police, the military, those guys are in it. Like, they're being bribed, like they're being promised big money. So what happens is people are being abducted and taken to Tanzania, Malawi, the East African countries. So those people believe that, I think we all know what happened. So anyway, I don't want to go so much into that, but I'm grateful that we are here, we are sharing, and we're learning a lot. So some people had a rough time than others, but what my point is, the first thing we need to realize is we can't fit in. We need to just accept ourselves the way we are, do whatever we can to get the self-esteem and confidence. The other thing is, whatever opportunity we get as persons with albinism, I know, like, most of us work twice as hard to just achieve something. So we need to be.
Oh, thanks, Darren. Thank you.
We need to be like the best at it. So and then, like, let's go. Let's keep fighting. Don't give up. Whatever you went through, just try to push past it. Anyway, thank you. That's it.
I've got my beautiful friend Ifraah Samatar in the building, sis. The floor is yours. Welcome, sis. Good evening. Ifraah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. Welcome to Albinism Talk Global Edition. How are you doing? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. I got some notes that I've written down on my phone, and I'm gonna read them out from my phone, and then I'm gonna try and put my camera on to say with my face some of the things that I wanted to say as well. But before I even go to the notes, I just wanted to take a few seconds to acknowledge you, Marvalyn. And I think everyone has touched upon it tonight, but just to reiterate again, the power of you, the grace of you, and the gift of you. And the honor that I feel as your friend and the pride that I feel, I can't put into words. Honestly, I can't put into words. This evening, I have cried, I have laughed, I have cried again, and I have honestly just had chills from every part of me. And I can only just equate it to so much love for every speaker that has shared their story, so much love for the entire community, but so much love for you, my family. And I've known you since we were kids in school uniform, and now we're adults, and I still love you even more than when we were children. And I am so beyond proud of you, Marvalyn. This is incredible. And I remember the last International Awareness Day, you were doing like small Instagram lives, and Shelby's still here, Josh is here. We were there on Instagram trying to answer questions, and me being my ignorant self, asking you all what your favorite book to read was, and what your favorite different things.
Oh my God.
And what the latest, movies that you're watching and things. So it's like you're trying to understand and learn every single day. You are a powerhouse of education, and thank you so much. So in terms of what I wanted to kind of briefly touch upon today, towards the end of our discussion, is that action point of what do we, especially we, I mean, those of us who are allies, those of us who are friends and families and colleagues and the rest of society that adores every single one of you, what role do we play in making sure the education and the conversation from today continues? And from my perspective, I'm actually going to put my camera on and forget my notes because I'll speak from my heart. Hi, everybody. And from my perspective, the role we play is to be an ally, right? And to me, an ally is not just words that we talk about, but it's a privilege for a person, whether it's your gender, your religion, your sexuality, your something that you have that's privilege for the society around you, or in the room that you're in, or classroom that you're in, or the streets that you're walking in. When Josh was talking about people who were throwing rocks at him, it broke me because I know how much of an incredible human being he is, and the friendship that I have for him and the care that I have for him. And to see that he went through that, I was just thinking, what world do we live in that happens? So that's an ally's role, to be that friend that walks side by side. That's the ally's role, to be that colleague that if there's, stuff to be reading or stuff to be whatever, to making sure that your workplace is inclusive, your learning place is inclusive, your environment is inclusive of your friends from the community who needs you. That is the role of an ally in that context. But on the ground educational context, adding your voice to the conversation is also the role of an ally. And that's something that I'm very proud to do. Every time Marvalyn meets me, I come through. So I'm asking every single person to come through when your friends say, I'm hosting this, or I've got this book, or I've got this thing. We have to be that immediate community that says, right, how do we lift your voice? How do we amplify it to make sure the message you have goes out further, and to be the eyes, the ears, the hand, the spirit that our friends need to lift them. That's the role we play, because there'll be a lot of people watching back this powerful conversation, listening to some of the stories, listening to some of the things. And we all have this idea of, I wish I could do something. What can I do? What can I do? There is so much to do. And it starts with you saying, how can I help? You're saying, how are you? You saying, what can I do? What do you need? Be in that conversation, be open-minded and be open heart to just allow people to share what they need and then act on it. That's the role that we play. And Marvalyn, I will always be that for you, that spirit that, is there with you 100%. If your mom was here today, she would be surrounded by so much pride. And I know that she is in this room with us tonight. And I know that she is proud of you. And I honestly, thank you, everybody. It's been an absolute joy to be in this conversation. Thank you, thank you, thank you all.
Beautiful.
Hey, Marvalyn.
I'm sorry.
Marvalyn. I just want to add to this conversation before we all head out. And I know Latrice wanted to talk about her amazing book that came out, but before we get there, I just wanted to add on here that when you talk about allies, being in the marketing industry, it's predominantly, I'm going to be very candid here, it's predominantly very white. The marketing field is very saturated. However, when I went into marketing, I didn't feel like I belonged, but I know how hard I worked to belong in that industry, how many hours I put in. I know I sacrificed a lot of friendships and just a lot of things to get into that field. When Marvalyn said that she wanted to do something for IAAD, I immediately was like, you know what, Marvalyn, my services are free to you. Let's go. Let's do this, because being an ally to the albinism community means that whatever we're gifted and talented at doing, whatever it is you do, it does not matter. Whatever it is you do, whatever services you have to offer, you have to make sure that you offer that within your community, because we're still building our community, right? We're still showing up for one another. Sometimes it feels like we're a race, if I'm being honest, like it's the albinism, you know?
Yeah.
So it feels like that at times, but we have to be able to show up for our community. That way we're able to elevate and amplify the people within our community, because you guys, we're all stars.
Oh, thank you.
Period. Okay.
I saw
all
Brenda.
so amazing.
So I saw Brenda, her hand was up. Can you join to the floor, please? I saw your hand up. And
Yes, Marvalyn. How are you? How is everyone?
Oh, hi, how are you?
Greetings from Uganda. I'm so
hello,
excited.
Uganda in the house. Good evening from London.
I'm so excited to hear from each and every one on this platform. I'm really so humbled. Marvalyn, thank you so much for such a wonderful event. It's one of a kind.
I'm so humbled.
I would love to share that people with albinism in Africa are really suffering a lot, starting from discrimination, rejection in each and every aspect of life. And when it comes to Africa, it's really worse. If you're to hear about the killings in Africa, it is too much. It's becoming uncontrollable. And if I go away from the sacrifices, we can go to the day-to-day life of persons with albinism. Most African countries are very poor, and people who live in them themselves are poor. Yes, we understand that poverty is also part of all countries, but when it comes to a person with albinism, it becomes worse, guys. And what is my call to everyone? Could we come together in all countries, whether from the Western, from the Eastern, from Asia, from each and every part of the country? Could we come together? Could we bring to the table all those opportunities that are out there to people with albinism? People with most of them have wanted to get some work to do, but the discrimination rate in the employment sector is too much. Could we get something to offer? Could we get scholarships? I always hear about scholarships in the United States, scholarships in Canada. Could we get these people these scholarships to apply? And you never know, this could change their well-being. Could we connect them to employment in maybe overseas? You never know, it could change their lives. I've had someone from Kenya called Michael. He's in Canada. Could you share experiences on how you maybe relocated to Canada? And could you tell us what inspired you? Was it the discrimination from your home country? If it wasn't, then what could be the reason? And then could you also share the opportunities in Canada so that those who are also in a position that maybe you could have been in that position before, they could get inspired and maybe also get to do something for themselves. Otherwise, thank you so much. I'm so glad. And maybe Marvalyn, could you also create like a global, it could be a WhatsApp group, it could be a mailing list, anything that can connect us so that we can stay connected, and after this meeting we don't disperse and we don't know who is doing what, who is where. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.
Oh man, I'm sorry, man. I was literally crying for a second. I'm sorry that I didn't respond. I'm so overwhelmed by this talk. I'm overwhelmed by this talk because it's so much of the stories that I can relate to with the whole stigma and relating to, I've never been to Africa, but can you imagine what's teared me up, about babies? And I don't know if some of y'all remember the story of last year about that little 2-year-old girl by the name of Janea. I don't know if y'all heard about that, where the family, when they pretended to be a police officer. Can you imagine? So, you put your trust in police, and then some people impersonate that, and they chopped off her hand, and in front of her brother and mother. That story really teared me up until now. I'm still traumatized, and I'm still disturbed by the fact that these things do happen. I'm still traumatized. Anyone else would like to say something before we close this section, because we've got performance to come on? We just have to wind up in a few moments' time. And anyone else would like to say something?
I would.
Who?
Hello. It's me, Toya.
Oh, hi. Yeah, Toya, yeah.
I want to piggyback on a lot of what everyone has mentioned. First of all, we talked about allies and having allies that are outside of our albinism community. First and foremost, we have to be our own allies.
Right.
Like Tresjure said, we have to be able to advocate for not just ourselves, but for each other before anybody else outside of us is going to be willing to do that. And sadly, that is the state that we are in, that if we don't stand up for ourselves and make it known, no one else will.
Right. Yeah.
So let's start there. Become your own ally, embrace others with albinism, and speak for them as well. Support them, whether it's a business or just in speaking or in passing. Don't be shy. Stand out. Become your own ally.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been to Africa, but I have heard about the things that are going on. And honestly, it disturbs me that it's still happening in this day and age, and no one feels that they are going to receive any repercussions from doing these things. My concern with that is, are we as people with albinism making it as known here in the States? I have become so surprised as of lately as to how many people I can bring this whole situation up to, and they say to me, they do that? I do that. What are they? I thought that stopped years ago. And it's like, no, it's still going on to this day. It's something that we need to advocate for our own people.
Yes.
I think it was mentioned, I think it was Tresjure that said it's almost like we're our own race. Sadly.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes.
It does feel like that, though. It does feel like we're our own race, but we are a community.
We are a community.
We are a community,
exactly.
and
all different races.
Yeah, we're all different, but we're so diverse. We come from, and for those who do not know, albinism, it can happen in any race. Not just blacks, because I'm growing up thinking albinism, which is only black people can have this condition. I grew up with that mentality. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was only black people can have albinism. I didn't know there was Latinos. I didn't know there was Asians, Chinese, you name it. I didn't know. In my time, I didn't know. So I know now. I'm still learning. And you're right. We should make our own allies, and we should make our own allies within our community. And when we stand together, as the motto is, together we stand, together we can. So we can stand together as a community, we can be a powerhouse. We can be a powerhouse when we stand together as allies. Trust me, we can.
I would love to see the people in our community, not just the ones that are on this Zoom call, but just in general.
Yeah.
Instead of using June 13th as Albinism Awareness Day, or I think it's the month of September as Albinism Awareness Month.
Yes, I agree.
Use this entire year from today forward to become your own ally within your community. Challenge yourself every day to support someone other than yourself with albinism, whether it's just through conversation or advertising their business or just speaking up. Use the entire year. Don't just use the days that are allotted to us. Make your voice yell and make your voice be heard from here on out. If we can come together like this over a Zoom call, there is no reason in this world why we can't come together in person and via social media to do all of the same things that we're doing right now.
India's hand was up. I saw that. India?
I just wanted to say, wow, I'm like Janica now, wow. Also just thanking you, Marvalyn, for being used. I feel like you found your purpose and you're walking in it. Like anybody who knows me or will get to know me or follow me on social media, I'm always talking about purpose and inner healing. And I think when we were talking about earlier about the mental status and health of people with albinism, I think this was a form of therapy for each and every one of us. I don't think any of us are going to walk away from here not touched. Me personally, I feel so full. Like I just went to some good revival at church or something. Like there's so much that like if I could run around, I could, because this is a blessing. It's a blessing for me. I'm a real spiritual faith.
Someone just said, yes, Lord. Who was that?
I feel like we just had albinism church, right?
Yeah.
Hi. Like that we
Pastor Marvalyn.
Hi.
To all of that. Amen to all of that.
That's your name from now on, Pastor Marvalyn.
Oh my God. Someone said, yes, Lord. Oh my God. That's hilarious.
But I really feel like the Lord really used you to set up this platform and this cat plane to bless so many people. Like this is global. You're not just talking to me or we're all friends and family now, but you know what I'm saying? Some of us you didn't know before now.
Oh my God, I'm so glad I met you.
Like you just added to your church membership. You just added to your church membership. Okay.
No, with all honesty, I do sing and I do sing. So, I probably, because the singers were supposed to be here, but one of them is here today. And I've got a virtual video one from that, but before they come on, Shelby, get ready, darling, you're coming up next. So I'm so do you know what? For me, I just have to sit back. You know what? It's like eating rice. I'm from Jamaica, right? Eating rice and peas, jerk chicken, fried dumpling in one, all right? And it was like, I had some spiritual food today. So no, you know what I'm saying? I had some real good food today. And I've learned so much during this talk. I've learned so much from my community that, the way how, oh my gosh, I got so much hands out. So I'm gonna go to Ruby quickly. So her hand is up before, oh my God, this is so interesting. So Ruby, please come to the platform. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I'm just listening I know we're running down this amazing conversation. I just wanted to, just touching really quickly on what everyone said. We are at a global space right now. And I wanted to say, I know, sorry, I hear it echo. I just wanted to say for everyone, from Africa, there was some conversation about coming from a country where I am in Canada now, but coming from a country where discrimination is systemic and, understanding, it's a discrimination. We really are, like every time in Canada, I apply for a job opportunity, I hit the race button where it's other, because we are, there's a systemic race that, that only we can understand. And for people in from Africa and some of the conversations happening on how to assist at a global level, I think it's important, whether you have support from or resources available from your government or not, we have to take initiative. We have to educate ourselves. I grew up in a country where sunscreen, I come from the islands, and sunscreen wasn't always available, or the education wasn't there. But we found other ways, because we knew if I didn't have sunscreen, I would be burned, and cancer was an issue. So long sleeves, hats, finding ways to read when devices were not accessible or affordable. At a different level, please lobby your governments, international. We're doing it in Canada. We have to get it done across, or we're trying to do it in this country. We have to. International Albinism Awareness Day in your education system. There's significant days like every other month, Black Heritage Month, Tamil Heritage Month, where they allocate time to educate people. So systemic racism ends from the root. International Albinism Awareness, your country, your province can acknowledge it. It's an opportunity for politicians to recognize it and make systemic policy changes to make lives easier. And that all starts with education. Marvalyn, on that note, I just wanted to say this to you. God bless you for everything. And I always wanted to, if I ever got to a space where I'm able to share my experience on this, and I share this with you, and I know your mom's watching over you, and Isaiah 55:11 says, "So is my word that goes out from my mouth. It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose of which I sent it." We all, wherever religion, class, race you are from, we all have purpose. Value yourself, respect yourself, carry yourself with dignity and confidence, and everything in life will be possible. You can make it happen. And when we ally together at a global level, we can become whatever we want. Thank you. God bless for everything you put together.
We've got I'm going to go to Pinky. Your hand was up, darling. I saw you. How you doing, sis? Pinky from South Africa. How you doing, my sister? Hello? Can you hear me, Pinky?
Hi, Marvalyn.
I saw you.
Hi.
Your head was up. How you doing, sis?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I saw your hand up. Thank you for joining me, sis. It's been a long time.
Yeah. I've joined like very earlier, but I just couldn't hear you guys. But then eventually I got to be connected. So yeah, I've been raising my hand like for quite some time, but then I could see that maybe you probably didn't just notice, but it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, did you wanted to say something? Are you okay?
No, I'm okay. The subject that I actually wanted to talk about has already passed, so
okay.
It's no point in going backwards.
Okay.
Yeah, because I actually wanted to touch on mental health, so it's okay.
Okay, thank you.
I ended up putting up a comment.
I saw that. Thank you so much. Oh, we've got two. I'm going to take the last three, and then we're going to end this session. Alicia, welcome, sis. Alicia.
Hi, can you hear me?
Good evening. Good evening.
Hi. Yeah, so it's really good to be here. I've learned a lot.
Thank you so much.
I must say you guys really inspire me. I'm amazed with this community. I wrote a book about albinism, and before writing the book, I had spoken to some persons with albinism on Facebook several years ago, 2015, 2016, when I was trying to write this. And I learned a lot, but now trying to promote my book on Instagram, I've met so many lovely people online, and I'm really just amazed at how supportive you people are, how kind you are, how uplifting and motivating you are. And I must say, even though I'm not a person with albinism, I feel like I'm part of you all because I'm here listening to you, hearing everything, feeling your pain, hearing everything. It's just, it really makes me feel like I can really understand you. And that was why I created the book, to help people to understand that, these persons are also human and they deserve love just as much as anyone else. My first experience, like Marvalyn, I'm Jamaican, so I knew about Yellow Man and everybody there, know about him. And I genuinely thought that there were only Black people who were affected with this condition. However, when I went to Colombia to teach English, I met a Colombian guy with albinism, and that was when I was, really curious and wondered more about this and started to get a bit more, intrigued. And I asked questions. I started to do my research, and that's when I got the idea to make the book. So now I'm more educated, obviously, and I want also for other persons to be aware and educated about this as well. So thank you guys for doing an awesome job. I've learned so much from all the posts I've been seeing from this community. I met wonderful people, and I just want to say that you guys are doing an amazing job, and I, wish you all the best.
Thank you. Josh, your hand was up, and then Princess will be the last person. So Josh and Princess will be the last two people.
So, just for a little bit of perspective, I got to know Marvalyn a year ago to the day.
Yes! Oh my God! Happy anniversary, Joshy!
So a year ago to the day, I was in Kissimmee, Florida. I was on Instagram with Marvalyn, with Ifraah, and with Shelby. And we were having this conversation about Albinism Awareness Day and what's been going on. And it was something small. It was something humble. It was just a conversation between four people. And neither of them knew me from a hole in the wall. But they sat there and they listened, and for the first time in a very long time, I felt like I was heard. You know what I mean? Like, and not just in the sense of, people just placating you and saying, oh, thoughts and prayers, blah, 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 blah. I actually felt like somebody was actually listening to me, and that, my voice was heard. So I find it just coming around full circle. It's really awesome to have come full circle a year later to have this sort of conversation again with Marvalyn, with Ifraah, with Shelby, and with everybody else here. And just to echo the same as everybody else, this is a huge, diverse community. Like we can leverage this sort of power in this network of people here to do great things. So, I mean, I think we should all get to know each other. I mean, I'm not expecting everybody to be all, people persons, because I'm not a people person, but for what it's worth, I'm really grateful that Marvalyn put this all together. And yeah, all these are awesome. Seriously.
Thank you. Princess will be the last person to speak, as we got Shelby to sing, and then I've got a video performance by Anya Dixon, who could not be here due to health reasons. So just wrap this up, Princess, and then Shelby will be coming on to sing for you all. Thank you so much to every speaker and everyone that has taken part with, your voice being heard. And it's a blessing that I can really take the initiative and to really make my albinism community proud. Thank you to each and every one. So Princess, just wrap this up, and then we're going to close this session, and Shelby's going to come and sing her song.
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to say, Marvalyn, thank you for this opportunity to be a part of this platform. This is so important for other people to be involved with. I just encourage everyone to just share it. Just share it. Share the word, Yell4Change. And I'm just so thankful that you allowed me to be a part of this platform. All of you are so amazing. I've met some amazing people that looks just like me. So I feel so confident and feel so good inside to be able to meet more people that's authors, that's doing a lot of things. And I just thank y'all for this opportunity, and thank you for getting to know you all. And thank you, Marvalyn. And I do know, I agree with your friend. I know your mom is looking down and so proud of you. You are such an inspiration to the community, the things that you're doing. And we really appreciate you for what you're doing in the community.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shelby. Garrison, to the stage. How you doing, Shelby? We're so sorry for
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So Shelby, now it's your turn to take the floor, sis. You're gonna sing for us. You ready?
Greetings, everyone. I'm Shelby Garrison, and I will be singing I Worship You.
Oh, amen.
I worship you in the beauty of holiness. I bow before your throne. In the beauty of holiness, you are royalty. So we'll crown you King of Kings. Oh, you are royalty. So we'll crown you King of Kings. Your Majesty, Your Majesty, I will dwell in the shadows of Almighty and the secret place most high. You are Lord of all creations. I will dwell in the shadows of Almighty and the secret place most high. He is Lord of all creation.
Oh, wow. Lord.
That was amazing, Shelby.
Let me do a little vocal for people who want to hear my voice now. I'm going to sing that same song that Shelby sings. I want to sing a little bit for you. I worship you in the beauty of holiness. I lift my hands to you, for you are my righteousness. You are royalty. So I crown you King of Kings. Oh, you are royalty. And I crown you King of Kings. Your Majesty, Your Majesty. I'm sorry about that. Let's take me to church for a moment. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Shelby. That was brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you. Welcome. Can we just give her a round of applause, guys? Please give her a round of applause. Unmute your mic and just give her a round of applause. Yes. Give her a hand, man. Honestly, she did well. I know it's not easy.
To sing along, basically. We're going to church because you two have started.
Amen.
We have to continue.
Praise the Lord.
There's a church choir right there.
Oh man, you know, I think it's not easy to come in a public settings and sing like that. So you know what? Props to you, Shelby. You did very well. I'm going to share a video of the international gospel artist. Anya was meant to be here, but she messaged me due to, you know, having albinism, guys. You know, the sun and the heat and everything. Yes. The struggle is real. So I will be sharing the screen of this next performance. She is an international gospel artist. She's also a psalmist and she's also a minister. So bear with me. I will be sharing this screen right now. Anya Dixon will be singing for me right now. This is her song right now. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
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 Tests and trials come to make it strong, but keep the faith and just hold on. She said it comes to kill, steal, and destroy, but it'll never take my joy, 'cause I've got it. I have the victory. I am an overcomer through Christ. For the rest of my life, I've got it, yeah. I am an overcomer through Christ. Y'all believe that today? See, in times of trouble, I call on the name that gives me power to proclaim. The world is defeated by faith. The enemy is slain. And in my heart, I know Christ reigns, 'cause I've got it. I've got the. I am an overcomer through Christ. For the rest of my life, I've got it, yeah. I am an overcomer through Christ. Now, wherever you are, I wonder if you can just help me out on this part. Repeat after me. Say victory. God give it to me. Victory. Said the world can't take it away. I've got victory. My God give it to me. Victory. I said the world can't take it away. I've got love. My God give it to me. Love deep down in my heart. Said the world can't take it away. I've got so much love. My God give it to me. Love unconditionally. Said the world can't take it away. I've got joy, 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 joy. My God give it to me. Joy deep down inside. Said the world can't take it away. I've got joy, joy. My God give it to me. Joy unspeakable. I said the world can't take it away. I've got peace. My God give it to me. That's peace that surpasses understanding. The world can't take it away. Here we go. So the world can't take it away. The world can't take it away. No, the world can't take it away. Said the world can't take it away. No, the world can't take my joy. No, the world can't take my love. Said the world can't take my peace. No, the world can't take it away. God gave it to me. Who can take it from me? Nobody, no, 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 no. 'Cause I've got it. I am an overcomer through Christ. For the rest of my life, I've got it. I've got I am an overcomer through Christ.
Oh, wow. Praise the Lord, everybody. Give her a hand, guys. Let's give Anya Dixon a hand, guys. Now, thank you for really everyone that's joined in, listeners, everyone who took part. Oh, wow. I am so grateful and blessed that, you know, we're here as a community, not just only through speaking, but we're amplifying our voice vocally. And just to wrap this up, I know some of the speakers had to go, I understand. But for the remaining speakers, just in closing, Brandi, Tresjure, Josh, Latoya, in closing, and Ruby, what would be your message for the albinism community regarding letting their voice be heard?
Okay, I'll start. Something I truly live by that has gotten me through everything, I would say, is just knowing that no one is you, and that is your power.
Amen. India?
I would say keep the conversation going. Let's keep talking. Like Latoya said, let not just stop today and then we'll see each other again in September.
Yeah.
You know,
y'all need the WhatsApp numbers up in here. Then yeah,
right.
then we'll do something.
Let's keep talking. Those of us who are here, I've already seemed like, man, I'm not friends with some of y'all, so I'm gonna be harassing y'all. I'm be sending friend requests, because it's something I want to. Like I said, I didn't grow up with all this, so I'm fascinated by us. So,
Amen. Amen.
All of you all. I want to continue this fascination, this growth, this healing. This has just been beautiful.
Namesake, how you doing? Namesake.
Hey, Namesake. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is so beautiful. I love our community. I love being a part of it. Thank you for uplifting this and letting us be a part of this. I will definitely say you never know who is listening and looking. There's somebody out there who's looking to you, and just really keep doing what you're doing, because you never know how you're impacting others and who is having that impression of you. And just continue to let us support each other. I want to read all the books. I know, India, you have a book, and I know other people have books, and I just want to support us all and do all, just be there for all of us. There's room for all of us. We all have a voice to uplift, and I definitely want to continue to see that for all of us. I love you all. Thank you.
Who else? Oh yeah, Latoya. I know just Nissa had to leave and some other speakers had to go. Latoya, Soul Sister.
I'm here. There's so much that I could say, so much that I want to say, but I'm going to start by saying thank you, not just to you and to all of the speakers, all of the people that joined in, listened, and watched. I stand by what I say. Let's not make it 2 days a year. Let's make it year round, make our voices be heard. But what I want to give my albinism community is a quote that I heard as an adult. And it has helped me, and I still use it to this day. I heard it in a movie, actually, but it says, your opinion is neither desired nor required. Mm-hmm. And I say that, I live by that now, because it gives me the guts to step forward and be who I am in my albinism, and not worry about what other people see or think of me. So I hope that it's something that you all can use as well in your day-to-day lives. Just let people know I am who I am, take it or leave it. You don't have to like me. Mm-hmm. Thank you guys again. I have learned so much. I feel so bonded to you. Find me on social media. I'll gladly accept. We can continue this talk daily. We can encourage each other daily. I'm here for you all. Love you.
Love you too. Ruby and then Josh.
Hi everyone. I just, what a wonderful day. And I wanted to say, if I could share anything with anybody, wherever you are in your journey, know yourself, love yourself, spread love, spread kindness, spread awareness. Born to White Ottawa is our organization in Canada. And Marvalyn, I just look forward to do some incredible things with you in the future, and everybody here. It's been an honor. It's been a privilege. Thank you.
Amen. Joshy, amigos. Sorry, man. I don't speak Spanish, but yeah, that came out.
That was funny. I loved it. I love it.
Mine would have came out too if my microphone wasn't moving. But we've been talking about talking, we've been talking about communicating, but we also have to listen. And not just to other people's stories outside of the community, but to people in our community too. There was something about supporting people in our community. We should take that to heart. So, yeah.
I don't know if you cut out. Hello, Josh. Are you still there? I don't know if
I'm still here.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So, thank you to everyone. So, if any of our speakers would like to share their socials, and we're going to wrap this up now. Time is really our enemy. You know, I wish we could spend all night, but no, time is against us. So, if any of our speakers would like to share their socials with the listeners so they can find you.
Okay, I'll start. If you're looking for any marketing needs to outsource any digital content, follow me at She's So Savvy Social on Instagram as well as Facebook. If you're looking for a community of women with albinism, follow me on Albinism Soul Care, where I offer just a wide range of things to look at, to engage with on Albinism Soul Care. I look forward to it. Also follow me at Official Tresjure. Love y'all.
Who's next?
Mine's not that long. I ain't as famous as Tresjure. I have to. My personal one is just India_Laterica, and that's Laterica. I had to think about it myself. And then my author page is signed India Laterica, just one word.
Oh wow. Namesake.
Hey, mine is unapologetic _Black BINO, Black Bino on IG, and then I'm Brandi Marie on Facebook.
Toya.
Facebook, you can find me at Latoya Freeman. Instagram, you will find me at total TOTAL, and then the number 615, total 615.
I found you, girl. I like your hair too.
I swear they want to put on her afro. So Ruby, your socials, please.
My personal social media is Ruby Ratnassingham. I'm also president to Born to Ottawa, is all the other nonprofit organizations.
Josh, you want to share your socials?
Yeah, actually. On Facebook, I'm Joshua Michael Cintròn. On Instagram, I'm I hate the way I say this, but I'm .joshua.dem.cintròn.
Oh my God.
Oh no, it gets better. If by some chance or another anybody needs any IT services, I've been an IT professional for the past 20 years. So there's that. Email me at joshuamcintron.com, and then my photography webpage, jmc.photos.
Janissa's not here, so I'm gonna give her social on her behalf. So Janissa is No Melanin. Okay, for those who want to find Janissa, our earlier speaker, at No Melanin, all socials. Okay, now my one now. Oh God, my one. Obviously, Facebook, Marvalyn Green. And if you want to add me on Instagram, it is Queen Marv Green. That's my personal. But Yell4Change is advocacy purpose for albinism only. So Yell4Change is on all social media platforms. So please subscribe to our channel. And this will be on a replay, so you can share this with your friends and your family. So thank you all from London, UK. And Yell for Albinism. Together we stand. Together we stand. I want everybody to say that. I want everyone to say that. Yell for Albinism. Together we stand. Together we can. Much love. God bless you. Thank you, Shelby, for your song. Thank you to each speaker, everybody that took part, everyone that's gone.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Marvalyn. Thank you, Marvalyn.
Bless up. Amen.
Pastor, you know,
thank you, everyone.
But did you not just decide to just put anointing oil and ordain me today or something?
Yes. This is your ordination service.
Now, just a final question, just one quick one before I go. to all my albinism community, if you was to melanate your skin, would you do it?
No.
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 No,
Not at all.
No.
Baby, this is straight gold, okay?
Exactly.
People wish they were us.
Exactly.
Nah, I'm good.
This is straight natural beauty. Natural beauty.
Right. People try to figure out how to get like us. No. I'm
I
good.
will say it in a, I'll say it in a language that I was taught when I was younger. De ninguna manera.
What he said, whatever he said, what he said.
Right.
Exactly. I second that.
I can agree, whatever that was.
Thank you all. Once again, thank you all so much for taking your time out with Albinism Talk with Marvalyn, the global edition. And just want to last thought, happy International Albinism Awareness Day for June 30. Yes. Love you. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my God, you know what? I was really... Gosh. Oh.
Wait, we're recording again?
Oops, that was accident.
I thought